The human energy center has habits, tendencies, life lessons, and challenges that can help us expand our level of awareness, which can lead to an expanded state of consciousness. The energy centers, which can be referred to as chakras, can be used as archetypes to help us understand how to use our personal power and how to keep ourselves healthy within our mind, our body, and our spirit. If you took the time to master each of the chakras and balance them within you, you could gain knowledge about yourself, your physical body and the physical world around you, and the spiritual world in which you come from. You will advance in your journey and open a path to spiritual consciousness. Hello, my beautiful friends. My name is Carrie Cox, and I help people use their personal power to build a connection between mind, body, and spirit. Today, we're going to talk about the chakras, and this will be a basic beginner video where we just start to learn how understanding them can be used for our personal journey into self-healing, self-realization, self-development, and how we can use them to find out more about why we suffer from certain physical ailments, or how we can heal different emotional and mental aspects within us. In the East, they are referred to as chakras, which is a Sanskrit word, which just means wheel of energy. In the West, they're commonly referred to as our energy centers. Along all of the vertebrae of our spine, we have different groups or like complexes of nerve clusters that in these groups, there tends to start to become a bundle of nerves called nerve ganglia. And those are where the chakra centers are located, from the bottom of the spine to the top of the head. And each of these energy centers are governed by an endocrine gland in the body. That is how that information is transmitted from those nerves out to all of the different body parts that are associated to that energy center. They're governed by and receive information by that complex of nerves at that energy center. The energy centers are part of what we call the subtle body. And we all have an aura that surrounds us. It's part of our electromagnetic field that's around us. And some people have the gift of being able to see auras around people, but we also have technology now that can actually take photographs of people's aura. So it isn't something that's just woo-woo made up. You can actually pick it up on specially designed cameras that can sense the energy field around us. These centers are hidden all over our physiology. There's over 130 centers, and most of them are considered minor chakras, but we have 7 major chakras that line the spinal cord. From the root chakra, which is the foundation, it's the bottom, and it is those last few vertebrae at the bottom of the spine, all the way to the top of our head, which is the crown chakra. Some of the major places that we have these minor chakras would be places like the palms of our hands, the bottom of our feet, and from our knees, but they're all over our body. And chakras are even running above our head and below our body as well. But what we're going to be discussing today is more of those 7 major chakras that line the spinal cord. And these chakras are points of connection, and divine energy flows through these connecting points, and then from there all over our body. This is our life force energy. And we can use these chakras to uncover deeper places of ourself, and we can find hidden feelings or traumas that we've repressed inside of our body. We can find those through balancing our chakras, through balancing and unblocking these blocks that we may have created through our wounds and our traumas. So now is the time to start getting rid of some of these old beliefs that we may have because society or an old way of thinking made us believe that. And it's time to start really going on a self journey where we get rid of and let go of those limiting beliefs, and we start figuring out what feels right to us, what feels right in our gut, and not what we've been told to believe, but what we believe for ourselves, what feels right for us, no matter what anyone else thinks. I want to read a quote that I wrote down that I heard Deepak Chopra say. So Deepak Chopra, if you don't know who he is, he's an endocrinologist, but he's also a spiritual teacher. And when you listen to him talk, it really makes a lot of sense. But something he said just was so profound to me. And I want to quote him. So I'm going to read from what he said. He said, "In the deeper domains of consciousness, the mind and the body are the same thing. The mind is the subjective experience of consciousness, and the body is the objective experience of consciousness." And what he goes on to explain is how in the West, we've really did a good job at separating the mind and the body as two separate entities that don't have anything to do with one another, but they really, really do. And they're proving this every day that there is a deep connection between the two. And he says that his definition of healing is, and I quote, "the memory return of wholeness," which is so true. In order for us to feel whole, in order for us to be healthy, we have to remember that we are whole. And when we do, that activates such a deep healing within us where we can't help but to heal and to start creating the life of our dreams, and everything starts falling into place for us. We're no longer living from a place of lower vibration and lower frequency. As you start to return to that wholeness, that oneness, your vibration will start to raise, and you'll start letting go of lower vibration things. And as you start resonating at a higher frequency, there are things of diseases that it cannot survive in that higher frequency body. So if you took somebody who was really big on working out, ate very healthy, but they still end up with something like cancer, that just goes to show you that it's not just about your food choices and eating healthy and exercising. There's also a component of, are you mentally and emotionally healthy? Because if you're not, you're only working on one aspect, and there are 3 aspects that you have to be healthy in order to create health and healing and oneness. You have to look at all 3 aspects, mind, body, and spirit. You can't just look at physical body or just look at mind, because they are interconnected. And he goes on to talk about shifting your identity from your ego and our body to healing in the most fundamental way, which is healing all 3 of those aspects. So he says, and I quote, "It's not that the mind heals the body, it's that when you get out of the way, they both heal themselves." So by using the chakras, you can use them as archetypes to help you get out of the way and start to heal the mind and the body and the spirit, because you're going to start reflecting on some of these symptoms that you may be experiencing in the body in that particular energy center will start to heal that energy center. And as you're healing that mind aspect, that mental aspect, that emotional aspect, or that physical aspect, you start healing the mind and the body. So we have these 7 energy centers that line the spine, and root chakra is at the bottom. It is so important to start at that root chakra because that is your foundation. And without a good foundation, the whole entire system above can crumble. So we want to make sure that you're always paying attention to your root chakra, that you're always making sure that's in balance, because the centers above it can't be in balance if that one is not in balance. The bottom 3 chakras are located between, basically, if you think about where your tailbone is up to about your diaphragm. Those are the bottom 3 centers, and those are the most physical centers. Those are what are your life experiences here on earth in this physical body. So they're much more physical based. They're about our survival, our basic needs for life, our family. So these are going to be more of our earthly experiences. It can include things like family, community, money, work, ego, self-esteem. And because these are the bottom of the system, the energy frequencies are much more denser, more heavier. The energy centers can be measured, and the frequency of these centers are going to be lower vibration. It's where things like fear come in to play. Then we move to the middle, which is heart chakra. So the heart chakra is going to be considered the bridge between the 3 lower chakras and the 3 higher centers. And this is where joy and compassion and love come from, in the heart center. And moving above heart center, we go to the throat, the third eye, and the crown. So these are more of our spiritual centers. These are higher vibrations, which would be considered like lighter frequencies. It's not as dense, they're much lighter. This is where our inner power comes from, and it could be related to things like our spiritualness, our self-expression, our intuition, the mind, our intellect, our wisdom. And if we ignore these centers, then we're ignoring, in that complex of mind, body, spirit, we're ignoring the mind part, but then also the spiritual part. And if we ignore our spiritual nature, then we will definitely manifest disease. Now, most people are going to have most of their harder issues to overcome in those lower 3 chakras, because those are more of our traumas, our wounds, our life experiences. Those are going to be the ones that most people are going to struggle with healing, and that's where the harder stuff to heal is going to come into play. More of the things here on this, in this lifetime that we've experienced. This is where most of our illness is going to come from. So if we're suffering from any kind of disease, we really want to look in those bottom 3 chakras for what's going on. The word disease, if you break that word up, it's a dis-ease in the body. So something in our body is not at ease, and that something could be something with our mind, our body, or our spirit. So we can't just go try to cure and heal this illness with a physical body medicine. We also have to look at those other aspects, or we're not really fully healing ourselves. And that's why a lot of times people who have an illness or a disease that they struggle with, sometimes they don't get better, or maybe they heal from it, but then it just keeps coming back. It's because you're only trying to heal the physical aspect, but you're not looking at the other stuff. Now, sometimes too, we can develop an illness in our upper chakras. Like I am a survivor of thyroid cancer. I can say that, yes, it's a throat chakra because that's in the throat. That's a throat chakra blockage and issue. But usually when something's in these higher chakras, it's really linked to something underneath that's down in those lower ones. So we have to do a little bit of digging. If our ailments are more up here, we need to look in those lower 3 to see, where is that connected to? Was it something that happened in our family or our marriage or our job? Because those are those lower chakra things. Because everything vibrates at a frequency, It's easy to think of this like thinking of musical notes. Musical notes have a frequency to them. And if you were to vibrate the notes and times that by the speed of light, it's going to equal a color. So all of these chakras are equated to a color because they emit frequency and vibration. And so when that vibration is equated or times the speed of light, you get a color. So it's not that somebody just decided one day, oh, these chakras are going to be different colors and it's going to be the same colors of the rainbow. There's science behind this. If you know anything about how light, vibration, energy works, then you understand why the bottom root chakra, the most dense, is red. And from there, the spectrum goes up, the rainbow spectrum, until you get past crown chakra and now light becomes white. There's science behind that. So starting at the root chakra, we start with the color red. And that energy center is associated to our survival, our basic needs. It's our family, our tribe, and our community. And going from there, we go to our sacral center, which is our creativity, our sexuality. And from there, we go to solar plexus, which is right below the diaphragm, just above the belly button. And that's all about us. That's about our ego, our self-esteem, our willpower. So in those bottom three chakras, we go from family in root to sacral, which is about one-on-one relationships, to solar plexus, which is all about ourselves. And then from there, we go to heart chakra, which is in the center, and it is about love, compassion, represented with the color green. We go to throat chakra, which is blue, and that is all about self-expression, speaking our truth, being who we authentically are. I noticed that most people have some kind of block with throat chakra. Again, that's going to be manifested probably from something in those lower ones. Then we go to our third eye, which is located at our forehead, between the eyes, right above our eyebrows. And then our crown, which is the color indigo. And then our crown, which is the top of our head, which is represented by the color violet. And third eye is all about intuition, vision, seeing. And then crown is going to be our most spiritual center. It's all about our spirituality and wisdom that comes from that higher place. So each of these chakras, you can find out different symptoms that they all have. And if you have those symptoms, it could show that you have an imbalance there. So I'm going to make some videos that are going to break out each individual chakra. Otherwise, this one would be a super long video, and go over each one, what the symptoms are, and what you can do to heal them. So please check out my chakra series, where I'm going to go through each of the chakras and explain everything you need to know about them so that you can start healing each of your energy centers. I hope you enjoyed this video. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and share it with all of your friends. Take care, love and light. Namaste.